Welcome back, Healthies. Today it's an exciting day for us because I have been promising you to bring on a financial specialist that's going to help us make financial progress. And very shortly, I'm going to introduce you to my friend, Mrs. Juan Love. Now, Juan is one of my friends that we have to schedule our catch up calls because they are long. This woman is so busy, it takes a long time for us to catch up. She exhausts me just listening to her. And when I give you her background, you'll understand why, because she's a woman that's gifted with many talents. She's a wealth manager that helps people manage their finances, from young people all the way through the old people ready for retirement like myself. She's founded Professional Evolutions, where she does executive coaching. She coaches with Better Up, and she even does evidence-based coaching with Modern Health. And if that were not enough, she's currently back in school again, but this time she's getting another degree in theological studies, and we're very proud of her for that. The foundation that allows Juan to do all of this is her solid 32-year marriage to Mr. Jerry Love, and he is the absolute love of her life. Let me bring this powerhouse on so that you can meet her for yourself.
Well, hello, my friend.
How's it going today?
It is great, and it is so good to see you. Thank you so much for your gracious invitation, and certainly for your warm and welcoming comments. I certainly hope I can live up to all of that. The one thing we totally agree on, Jerry, is the love of my life. Absolutely.
He's the love of your life and worthy of that title. I mean, from the years that I have known you, you have certainly always spoken very highly of him, which you should. That man rocks. And one day when I meet him, I'm going to encourage him to come on and meet the Healthies himself. So glad that he gave us you for the time. Thanks for joining me for lunch today. I am going to have just some grapes. I've had some grapes that I was going to nibble on while we are chatting over lunch. And what did you do for lunch?
So I know the goal was for us to have lunch together. I couldn't wait. I had a veggie stir fry that was amazing. I think I might have shared with you, but during this period of Lenten, I have become a pescatarian. So I'm like, I got to give up my chicken and turkey. But it has really been an easy journey. I've learned, about variety, love veggies anyway, and I have learned that I love stir fried tofu. So who knew?
Wow.
Air fried, and I like not broccoli, Brussels sprouts, even if it doesn't have bacon. Who knew that?
No,
balsamic vinegar it's a game changer.
You have got to definitely help me with preparing the tofu, because I think it's preparation that has me not really being a fan. So I'm going to have to definitely tip in, have you give me some tips on that one. Well, I'm excited. So let's jump in. The Healthies have done a lot of work. They have learned how to make a budget.
Kudos. Awesome.
They have gone through credit repair. We did a lot of work with repairing credits. And I promised them that I was going to bring on someone like yourself who's knowledgeable with finances that can help us make the financial progress. So we're going to watch a short video, and then Juan is going to start instructing us on how to make that progress. Okay. Okay. Yes, we both are. So I am going to start this. That should work. Give me a second here, and it's here. It's only a couple minutes, everyone, so it's not going to be long.
Legacy.
Uh-oh.
There's power in your name. Power in your name. McDonald's is a last name. Abercrombie and Fitch, last names. Armani is a last name. Baskin Robbins is a last name. Chrysler is a last name. Fisher Price, Gucci, Hennessy, Harley Davidson, Hilton, Honda, Kohl's, Kraft Foods, Lowe's Movie Theater, Marriott is a last name. Maybach is a last name. Nordstrom is a last name. Pillsbury is a last name. Porsche is a last name. Procter & Gamble, 2 last names. Rolls Royce, Charles Rolls Henry Royce, last names. Turner Broadcast System, Ted Turner, last name. Versace, last name. Wells Fargo, Henry Wells, William Fargo, last name. Walgreens, last name. Wrigley's, last name. Welch's Grape Juice, last name. Here you are, you think you're buying a product. You are not buying a product, you're buying a name. You think you're wearing a product. Hey, look at this product. No, you're saying, look at this family. And what you don't know is while you're making every family rich, you're making yourself broke. So you done went to one family called Wells Fargo and got $200,000 so you can go to another family called Rolls Royce so you can give them money to get yourself a car so you can go back to the hood and see the Joneses and say, look at what I got. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo, their family's sitting up being rich, and Harley Davidsons and Rolls Royce are being rich, and the Joneses are sitting there holding up people's stuff saying, look at what we did and we broke. What if I told you that your blessing is attached to your name? That part of the reason why you're not wealthy yet is because you keep trying to make Yolanda wealthy. You keep trying to make Tasha wealthy. What if you made Johnson's wealthy? What if you started thinking about your kids? What if you started thinking about your legacy? What if God started dropping Canaan and opening up windows of heaven? Because now you're not just thinking about you, you're thinking kingdom.
Wow. Well, that's definitely eye-opening for me. Wow. And I have to really say that a lot of that hit home. I even remember being a teenager and having my first pair of customized jeans that had someone else's name on them. And it's a habit I picked up early, and it has continued. Powerful lesson.
Yeah. The other thing about that, to piggyback onto that, so those are what we call depreciating assets. Have you had somebody else's name? Did it go up in value over time?
No, it did not. No, ma'am, it did not.
Do you have them? Can you fit them? Are they in style?
If I could fit them, I wouldn't care if they were out of style. I still want just to be able to fit them, Juan. No, I can't. I can't do any of that. No.
Yeah. So those are the things we need to look at as we accumulate things. Nothing wrong with accumulation. So I want to start off by that. But what are you accumulating? And is it going to increase in value, or is it going to decrease in value? And is that going to get you over time where you want to go? So I'm not here to be a joy killer. I'm not here to be a dream killer. But I do want to level set expectations for reality so that we can all get to where we want to go. Because at the end of the day, it really is all about the kingdom. And when we seek God and his righteousness first, he adds those other things to us, right? Is that what the word tells us?
That's what it says. And that's exactly what I see being lived in your life. One of the reasons that I wanted to have you on is because I authentically wanted someone who not only could educate us, but is living proof of that. And so I'm going to tell a little bit of your business because I know you don't mind this. Not only do you educate, but you live this out. Her husband, Jerry, that we talked about a little earlier, has been able to retire. And my sister works hard because she wants to. They vacationed last year in Greece, was it? I know Greece is on my list.
Yeah, for 10 days in Greece. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so it's that you're living the life that is showing that you're not only educating, but you're manifesting what you're teaching in your own life, which inspires us to actually follow that lead, because we know that, number one, that's someone who is telling us the right thing and doing the right thing themselves. How often do we see incongruency between people who say one thing but do another? And that's why I wanted you, because I see the congruency. I see that it's not only being talked about, it's being lived out.
Well, thank you so much for that, my sister. But I do want to say, because I don't want people to think, oh, they went to Greece. We did, but it was planned. So This isn't something on a humbug. We're like, oh, we're going to go to Greece. No. We talked about this a couple years out. We started saving because what we wanted to make sure is when we came back from Greece, trip was paid for. We weren't paying for the trip years into the future. So that's important. And I will tell anybody, didn't get here in a day, didn't get here in 2 days. It was by truly working together, setting goals and staying true to those goals. And one of the things that I share with people is when my husband and I started out, and we were just like everybody else. So we had good jobs, but we didn't have anything. We had each other. We had love. But we knew what we wanted. So we knew we wanted to get a house together. We needed a car that was going to get us to work, reasonable transportation. But we've always stayed in our own lane. So we didn't try to compete with anyone else. We're pretty much simple, basic people, but we lived on the principle of one income. So if one person lost their job, we knew we'd be able to make it until that other person was able to get a job. Luckily, that never happened during the time. My husband's working career and I'm still working, but we always looked at it as a possibility. So I wanted to put that out there. Two people working together, I tell you can set the world on fire. But if you're together and you're pulling in different directions, you'll set yourselves on fire. Ooh. Now, that being said, I realize not everyone is married. So this isn't just about couples. This is whether you're single. I was raised by a single parent. I know all about that struggle. But what I love that my mother did for me, one of the many things, all the things I love. I didn't love when she was whipping my butt. That wasn't so fun. But she taught me how to save at an early age. And I know they don't have Christmas clubs now, so I'm dating myself. But it started out with something as simple as a Christmas club. And each week, it would be $5 in the Christmas club. And they had little coupon books. And we would go to the bank and we would do that. And so when December came, my mom bought whatever she was going to buy for me via Santa Claus from the Christmas club. And even as I grew up, I kept doing the Christmas club thing. And that just helped just start a consistent saving pattern. And I've always been one, I want to borrow from me. My mom died at a young age, so I really had to learn how to be dependent on me because when you're out there in the world without your mom, life can be tough. So I learned a lot of great lessons the hard way. But again, I'm just so thankful to my mom. She really taught me that savings component.
She did. And, I was thinking about as you were talking about that Christmas fund and how much I remember it as well. And, what stuck out more, Dave Ramsey, I'm sure you're familiar with him because
Absolutely.
He's a financial guru in our world today. But he has a very similar system that he doesn't call the Christmas fund, but he does call it the $5 envelope method. Mm-hmm. Every $5 you get, never spend it, put it in an envelope, put it in an envelope. And, to think about what he is doing very well financially off of today teaching was a simple concept that started back way when. Not that Dave didn't know it back when your mother and my mother was alive, but we had that information. We just didn't share it enough with people, which is one of my goals with the Pictures of Health, is to utilize my network to bring the messages to the masses because it's information available. We're just not sharing and people don't know where to go and find that information. So thank you about that, for that story about your mother and the Christmas fund, because it brings back fun memories for me.
And thank you for what you're doing to get the knowledge out there. Because again, what does the Bible say? My people perish for lack of knowledge. And we live in a world with the internet. There is so much knowledge available, more than at any other time in history. So then the question becomes, what can I trust?
Yes.
People come to me. I saw this on TikTok and I love TikTok. I learned things from TikTok too. But just like any other social platform, not everything is going to be for you. So as a financial advisor, what we do is sit down together to create a plan that works specifically for you. It's customized to you.
I love that. And you're 100% correct. Not only are you a financial advisor, one of the things that the healthies may not know, talk a little bit about just how rigorous your industry is with compliance and the testing that you guys have to go through, because they don't just allow anyone to become a financial advisor, not if you credentialed. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So I'm going to give you a set of numbers. The first is Series 7.
Yes.
And then the other set is 66. So 7 allows me to be securities licensed. 66 allows me to operate in any state in which I pay for a license. So that means I can be licensed outside of my own state. It is a very arduous exam. It's the 7. And they've changed a bit, but when I took it, it was a 6-hour exam. You took it in 2 parts, 3 hours, 3 hours. But one day they gave you an hour for break. I don't ever want to take that exam again. So truly, you want that to be a one and done. Uh, and you're not trying to crush the curve. You just want to get what you need to get that exam. So because I have that, it's also incumbent upon me to protect that license with all that I can. So every year there's continuing education requirements I have to fulfill, vendor requirements. So our industry is heavily, heavily, heavily governed. And it is governed that way to make sure that we're not doing what we want to do for us, but that it is in your best interest. And yes, are there some bad actors out there who get outside of the lines? Absolutely. But there are fewer and far in between. And trust me, FINRA does not play when it comes to that. When they find the bad actors, they take care of them. And something I want to put out, so if you have paper and pencil, you can go to brokercheck.com. It's a FINRA site, and you can see any financial advisor you're considering. You can go out and see their history, when they were registered, what licenses they have. Do they have any dings on their records? And what are those dings? Do they have any complaints? So I always tell people, go to BrokerCheck, and you can just Google that. And it's a FINRA site, so it's a legitimate site. And FINRA is the Financial Regulatory Authority agency for the financial world.
And thank you for explaining that so well, and simply that we can grasp it. And of course, I knew that, and I also knew that this is a very serious business. I have never even attempted those series exams, because she's 100% correct. It is no joke. And just to let you understand a little bit about the industry and how compliant they are. As you know, I've been working on trying to get Juan's schedule for a while, and we had some scheduling challenges, but more so, we had to make sure that the questions that I asked would be appropriate, because she has to be compliant in everything she says and does. And if she has to do that in an interview, can you imagine the rigorous examination she would have as your financial advisor to make sure that the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed? It's not a joke. So I really respect the industry and respect her as my friend for sharing. And she's my go-to person for finances. So let's dive in. And I'm going to give you 3 separate groups of people that the healthies generally fall in, so that you could kind of help all of us despite the stage that we might be in, because we're at different financial stages. I would say that we have some of the healthies that are young, and they have young children, and toddler age even. So they are concerned. Their concern is, how am I going to make sure my child has a better life than I did? Am I going to be able to send them to college? Am I going to be able to afford college? College is unaffordable for many now. So what is it going to be when my toddler's 18, 20 years old and ready to go to college? So that's one group of people. A second group, one would be those that are probably married, a married couple. They, are struggling, both working, trying to make ends meet, but there's just not a lot of discretionary income for extras. They love to start investing. They know they need to start investing. Well, where they're going to find that extra that's going to enable them to do so. So any encouragement and guidance that you can provide to them would be helpful as well. And then you got my group, those that are ready to retire. And listen, I could do it tomorrow and I'd be happy. So you've got those that are retirement eligible, that I am as of this year. But my struggle is, am I ready to retire? Or do I want to finish paying off this house? Because it would bless me to leave this home to my daughter. I think it would be a blessing to her that she has a home that's fully paid for. But really, I'm working for a home for her, because let's face it, I won't be able to enjoy it for as long as she will. So that's my challenge now. And if you could just guide us along so that we can begin making financial progress. We're not expecting anything massive overnight. We know it's baby steps, but we're okay with baby steps, because that's why we did our budget like a little baby, to learn how to manage our money. And we did our credit repair. We took the baby steps, and we're ready to take some more with you. So share with us with that.
All right, great questions. So let's start with our, young folks with young kids trying to figure it out. So first of all, and in each scenario, I'm going to start with, so let me just say it once, but it applies to each scenario. Go back to that budget. I always want to make sure that you're following that budget, because sometimes when we create budgets, there are things that we hadn't factored in. Sometimes something happens and some extra money comes in. And so now we have some funds, not to play with, but I'm going to use the word play, that we can play with, that we can do a few things with. And one thing I want everybody to hear, I don't care what category you're in, again, I am not coming to kill your joy. I want you to be able to live life in a comfortable manner. I have a couple that I work with, and I am going to answer the question. But when we initially sat down, they wanted to know if they would be okay, and they were on the, should be probably closer to your, where you are in life. And as I told them, we sat down to look over what they had done. They had done a good job of protecting assets and making good decisions. I told them, I'm not worried about you. You'll be okay, but you won't be able to do anything crazy. So if you're looking, I'm going to be able to take 2 and 3 cruises every year. You can't do that, but you can take one every 2 to 3 years. So you can have life. You can go out and have a nice dinner occasionally. Can you do that once a month? It wouldn't be wise. And I am so proud to say they're just doing so well because they continue to stay in their lane. And so as a young family, again, go back to that budget. Sit down. So what is it you want for your children? And let's talk about the college. College, tuition is skyrocketing, but there are states that if your kids stay in states, the tuition is free, and yes, they have to pay room and board out, but maybe they'll stay home a little longer. 529 plans, that's a great place to start, and every state has some form of a 529 plan. It may not be that your state has the best one. The state of Virginia, for example, they have a really good, and you can live in any state, go to any college. So what are you putting aside? And it doesn't take much. And what I love about 529 plans, grandma, grandpa, aunts, and uncles. So when people are, ask you, well, what do the kids want? They want you to contribute to their 529 plan.
Oh, that is so profound. And I know I did that for my daughter. So I'm very familiar with that. Now, the 529 plans, if I live in Illinois, but I see a plan in a different state, are there rules and regulations that prohibits me from maybe investing in other states, or am I limited to Illinois?
You are not limited to Illinois. The Virginia plan is one that I use for my clients here in Missouri, just because it's a good plan. It gives them more flexibility. So we go with that plan. It really depends on the plan sponsor.
Okay.
But you are not limited to the state. And as I said, you go with the Virginia 529 plan or whatever other state, you are not limited to going to college in that state. Your child can go to whatever college they want to. And so that's a great way. Really getting the friends and relatives, those who want to contribute to the kids on a regular basis, helping them get in that mindset. A toy is great. And yes, kids need toys and they need all of the electronic stuff, but do they really? So are there other ways that you can help them tomorrow? And one of the things we've always done for our kids and grandkids, your parents can buy you the basics. We will get the stuff that they can't buy you. There is, you can go on computershare.com. You can set up accounts for kids. You can contribute on a monthly basis as little as $25 a month, and you're buying stock in a company. You don't need a financial advisor for that. You don't need a stockbroker. This is something you can do on your own. So those are some just great ways that you can get started. And $25 a month, when you break it down to $5 a week, the coffee, the treat, whatever it is that you might have to give up. So maybe you can't have Starbucks, but 2 days a week instead of 4. Is your kid worth it? I would say yes.
Oh my God, yes. That is so profound. I want to make sure I captured that correctly. It's computershare.com.
Okay. Yes. And just a quick story about computershare.com. So when my husband and I got married, and I'm not even sure who even told us about it, because I was not a financial advisor at that time, but I'm pretty sure it was a client who told me about this dividend reinvestment program where you can go and buy the shares of stock direct.
Right.
We started and we just kept doing it. $25 may be all you can do. But over time, your salaries are going to go up. You're going to get increases. You're going to get promotions. And I always tell people, when you get bonuses, if you get bonuses, you lived a whole year. You didn't have that money. So this is a great time to put that in some type of investment vehicle.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. Those are some great, 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 great tips. Okay. So we have some information for helping our kids for college, those 529 plans. And we've even got some computer share that can be used. From what I'm hearing you say, if I invest in this, I can use it as I want to. Like the 529 has to be used for educational purposes. We got that.
Correct.
But the computer share, seemingly, I can just use that for
For
myself.
whatever you want to,
Yeah.
whenever you want to, but you really want it to build.
Yeah, I do. And that's great because that's going to answer the question that so many of the healthies would say that, Sheree, I'm barely, keeping my head above water with the bills and just trying to make ends meet. But listen, we all have $5 a week. I know that I can find several $5 a week and start making the investment towards that computershare.com. Two really, really great tips. Okay, I'm going to stop talking so you can continue. Go ahead.
And I know
Sorry.
I need to go back to the young married couples, but can I just quickly go back to the 529 plan? So
Please.
one of the questions that I will get, well, I got 3 kids. One of them, I'm sure, will probably go to college. One of them, I'm not so sure. Well, the beautiful thing about this is if you set up a plan for all 3 kids, or if you have 2 kids, both kids, one doesn't go to college, you can transfer those into the one who's going. So you don't lose the money. Or if there's another member of the same family, you can move that account to them. So your money is not lost. And a lot of people, I don't know if they know that.
I didn't. That's educational for me. And I had a 529 when my daughter was college age. So yeah, that is educational for me. Great tips. Thank you again for that. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Taking notes, but listening to.
Okay. So now we have our young people who have been working a little bit and they're doing okay. So again, back to the budget. How you doing with the budget? And then my question for you is, are you taking advantage to funds that may be available to you on your job? So are you contributing to a 401k plan? If you are, does your company match, and at what percentage? And if you're not taking advantage of a company match, you are doing what I tell everybody is an absolute no-no. You are leaving money on the table. It's free money, so to speak. You're working for it, but your company is giving it to you. And people will say, well, they don't have a dollar for dollar match. They only match me 25%. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's free money. Take advantage of it. Now, what I am going to tell you, if they match up to 4%, work your way up to the 4%. Again, as you get increases, take some. If you get and I know increases are low, even if you get them. So the days when Sheree and I were working back in our, you got double-digit increases.
True.
I haven't heard of a double-digit increase in a long time. So let's say your increase is 4%. Take 2% and put it into the plan. Take that other 2% and put it in your discretionary income. Because again, I do want you to be able to enjoy life.
Yeah, that is so good and such good wisdom. I love it. So what about how important is it for me to, like, I'm 61, very transparent with that.
You look amazing, my friend. You look amazing.
You're so kind. I would love to leave my daughter more than I love you. But wouldn't insurance for me at this age, although I'm in good health, wouldn't insurance kind of be expensive?
Insurance is expensive. And so the younger you are, the more cost-effective insurance is going to be. And we'll talk about different types of policies. So you have whole life, which used to be you paid for it for your whole life, but now we have 10 pays, 20 pays, so you don't have to pay, or you can pay up to age 65 versus the tables now take you up to 121. I got to tell you, at 60 years old, 80, whatever, certainly at 100, I do not want to be paying for life insurance policy. So those 10 pays, yes, you're going to pay a little more, but it's done. 10 years, it's done forever.
Yes.
65 is done forever once you reach age 65. So I encourage you to go out and look at those policies. Term. that's almost free. And I am one of those who believe in a hybrid approach because term is good just for that particular term. Now, if you get term, you do want to make sure that you get convertible because when it's time to convert that, you get to choose what you want to put it in. So the company putting you in what they want you in, and it's not going to be the best. But if you have a hybrid approach, when that term goes away, and if you're a young parent, um, I have a couple. I want to make sure that I give you the right number. So they have 500,000 coverage. Each of them has a $500,000 policy. In their early 30s, they're paying like $22 a month.
Wow.
There is no other time in life they're going to have that coverage. Now, as the kids grow older, they won't need that level of coverage, but they got student loans. So we want to make sure if something happens to one of them, the other one is not only going to be okay, but the kids are also going to be okay. And
Wow.
we never want to think about, what might happen. But when we leave our houses, we don't know if we're coming back.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Oh, wow. So, so very true. Well, I know what I'm going to do. I am going to be sending you my policies for review so that if I need to make changes, I can do that. Okay, perfect. This is really has been really good. Okay, well, you have gone through everything that I needed. Any additional things that we should be aware of, stuff that's on the horizon that we might want to start thinking about? Any last final tips you want to leave us with before we wrap up?
Yes.
Okay.
You talked about wanting to leave your daughter a house and paying your
Yes,
house off.
yes.
Your daughter, I know she has to be younger than you because she's your daughter.
That's right.
She's got far more time to work and recover than you do. So if you tie everything you have up in the house, what happens if the market drops? Is the house the house is now no longer worth what it was. Your dollars are gone. She may live long enough to see the value come back up.
But
You may
maybe
not.
not.
So those are things you have to think about. And I don't talk, but if you're within a certain period, so you tell me, look, I owe $5,000 in the house, Cherie, pay it off.
Right.
But if
Like
you tell me that you're in the six figures, you got to think about that because your daughter has a much longer runway than you do. It's just a reality. So those are things I want us to be thinking about as we make those decisions. And this is going to sound like Christian propaganda, and it is. I'm not shameful at all. I'm shamelessly. Pray about it. Talk to God about your decisions and ask Him, is this the right path for me? The other thing I will tell you when you're determining how you want to work with the financial advisor, interview at least two. I would say three, but at least two, because you may find the best financial advisor in the world, but it's not a good fit for you, for your style and personality. This is somebody you're going to trust with your most sacred secrets. You're going to tell your financial advisor things you don't even want your family members to know.
That's true. That is so, so true. Perfect. Where can we get in touch with you and follow you? Do you have a website or anything? Does Professional Evolutions have a site?
Professional Evolutions is my coaching. It does have a website. I don't have that one active, up and active, just because I don't want to conflict with the finance, but people do know how to reach me through that. But you can go to theamericagroup.com. You can see me and my colleagues. You can learn more about the firm. You can check us out. And broker check, there's a broker check link right there. So you can click right there.
Okay, great. So I will include the link to americagroup.com in the show notes so that those that want to follow and connect with Juan can do so. What are your social handles? Can they follow you on social media? I know
I do have a Facebook and I do have an Instagram account. If you ask me my handles, you know what? I need to get those to you.
No worries.
Coach Juan on the Instagram.
Okay. I got them. I will definitely include those.
And I have an X account. I don't use it often, but I have one. Honestly, I get referrals, and so I don't worry about the social media as much because it's not at this point in life, and that could change, where I need to drive traffic.
Yes, and see, that's what I have noticed with you. You don't work as hard as a lot of the people in your industry because of your referrals, and that's because of your excellent service that you provide. Juan, thank you so much as my friend for being with us to give us this great financial advice as well as tips. We so appreciate it. Will you come back in the future if we have more questions?
I would love that. Thank you so much. It was just a pleasure and an honor to be here. And to all you healthies, keep doing what your wonderful, wonderful, wonderful mentor, coach, facilitator, guide, because she is giving you awesome stuff.
Yes. Well, thank you, my sister. And we are going to wrap up for now. And as always, hold everyone at levels that honor you. Bye bye until next time.
Bye bye.